Alright. Hello survivors and welcome to another video. In today's video we are going to show you a little bit of an exploit. Currently there is a weird interaction between a skill and certain runes, so we are going to take advantage of that for the best prestige farming on any character except for the Spellblade, Paladin, and Elementalist. Now the reason this doesn't work on these three characters is because they do not have access to Bomb or Chaos, and because of that they are unable to get the relevant skill without changing the runes, and the runes are the reason the skill is kind of busted, so unfortunately it doesn't work on them. So today we're going to be using our assassin. He is our low, well actually the legionnaire is our lowest, so we'll use the legionnaire. The runes we are using today are singular focus, so that we can have 5 of this skill, chaos affinity, critical mastery, and then vulnerable target. We're going to go into the dungeons of despair on curse 48, and if you have thought yourself, you know, oh man, what could this skill be that is so broken that it can completely destroy absolutely everything in the game, it gets you to the most insane overlord cycles, and it's just completely busted. Now obviously this is all depending on your computer, because you know the skill itself and overlord cycles does mean that you are going to have FPS drops and things like that, but there have been people using this build that got to overlord cycle 20 in half an hour. That is insane, and that is like a 30 levels or prestige levels from level 150. So that's insane. If you do need to get to that 170 to make sure that your characters are ready for the next skill tree, or if you don't like a certain character, like you know, a lot of people hate on the assassin or the legionnaire and you really don't enjoy playing him, use this build. You can play him once and you will be at a very high prestige, ready for that you know, level, the skill tree for the next update that's going to be coming out. So I'm not going to be doing the actual overlord cycles. What I am doing is just showing you the build itself and how you get to it, and then what to build from there. Now the first thing I have to say about the build is make sure that you do not build too much cast frequency. That is because we are using the Freinzied Bunnies. That is right, we are playing on the bunnies. Now what that means is that we are going to be summoning these cute demons, not demons, shame, these Freinzied Bunnies, and we are going to be relying on their damage. Now unfortunately over here for some reason we aren't picking up the bunnies as a skill. We are trying to get them to show up so that we can get all 5 of them as quickly as possible. Usually what happens, which for some reason isn't working for us over here, is that this is what's supposed to happen for us. So when we reroll, we are guaranteed the bunnies. So you do want to try and use your skill points as soon as you get them. So like there, we got 2 more level ups. We are going to use it again. We landed up with chaos. Ooh, we didn't get the bunnies this time, so we are going to just banish a couple of these. Please give me bunnies. There we go, fantastic. So we only need 2 more bunnies. Look, I just used the banishers because I wanted to get them as quickly as possible. You don't have to banish, but it does make it a lot easier to ensure that the bunnies are going to be the skills that we get. It also does make sure that, like now when we do use it, multicast, fantastic. We don't need anything for the Jupiter's sword, so there we go. Again, we are looking for bunnies, so you know, game, if you could give me bunnies, that would be fantastic. And then we are just looking for multicast, a little bit of area, because you don't want too much area on your skills, otherwise you are going to be in a bit of a problem in terms of FPS. But obviously the more area you have, the less you have to run around to kill bosses, but as you can see, we completely annihilate the bosses as soon as the bunnies touch them. And remember, this is on Curse 7, so the hardest difficulty in the game. But like I mentioned in the beginning of the video, for some reason there is a weird interaction between the bunnies and these skills, so they completely and utterly destroy everything in their path. It is just fantastic. So there we go, 6 bunnies, we can lock the skills, and now what you want to do is just try and get yourself as much crit damage, so you want 100% crit, and then multicast as well as a little bit of area of effect. Again, you don't want too much cooldown, because otherwise it's going to ruin how quickly your bunnies explode, and that could cause you problems, especially later on in the game. Although, because the bosses do spawn on top of you, if you do have enough area of effect with a lot of cooldown, then it is okay. So like I said, we do want to try and get to about a 2-second cooldown. But anyways, as you can see, it really doesn't matter. We completely obliterate absolutely everything that shows up on our screen, which is just fantastic. So I'm looking for a 2-second cooldown. I'm not going to work on my area of effect too much, because it does cause problems for us. We are going to grab, we're not really worried about Doom Today's right now. Damage would be a little bit more important over here, I think, personally. But actually we've got locks, so never mind, we'll grab both. Multicast as well, very, very good. And we will obviously take the relentlessness when we get some really good ones, like the 20%, or if we get something else going for us with relentlessness, then we'll grab them. But that's only if we don't get something better. We can grab Leviathans here as well, because we aren't worried about movement speed too much. But if you are, you can just grab the agile just to make up for it. But if you're playing on, let's say, assassin, you will have a triple dash. And if you are playing on some of the characters that have the new passives, you will be even stronger. So really it does depend on who you're playing with. Unfortunately, it is very difficult to do this on the Elementalist, on the Spellblade, or the Paladin. It just doesn't work on them, because getting bunnies on them is now impossible. So unfortunately, you do have to do this on every other character except them. The one thing that might be a slight problem for a lot of people is when you do get into the Overlord cycles, you'll notice that the bosses do attack a lot faster. So you do want a little bit of movement speed just so that you are able to survive. You do want some damage reduction as well, because otherwise you will land up getting one shot by absolutely anything that looks your way, and we don't want that. You don't want to die too soon. Again, this is here so that we can farm as much prestige as possible. So I am going to go into at least one Overlord cycle, just in case you've never seen it or know what Overlord is. So we will do one cycle. It's not going to be too much, because we should finish the first round within the under 7 minutes, quick and easy. And then the next Overlord cycle will be even faster, because you have to kill even less enemies than you did for the first time. So as you can see there, bosses all spawned, they instantly died. This build is completely nuts, and it is just so much fun. So, well, I mean, I say fun, it's pretty brain dead, but it is because of a weird interaction with a vulnerable exploit and the bunnies. And then obviously having critical mastery just makes it even better, because you are dealing even more damage. So here's the relentlessness, that's fantastic. 2.6 seconds over there. We're gonna grab that. Increased bunnies, more movement speed, because we are working with Leviathans, so we do have to make that movement speed back, which we did. And also because the enemies in later stages of the games do get insane attack speed, you do want to try and get as much movement speed as possible from there as well. But you can see that with multicast, the bunnies do explode multiple times, which again means more damage for them. And I don't know. I really wish I knew why this bug existed or what, you know, it did exactly. But as you can see, everyone's dead. That was a 6 minutes 15 second run. Really insane. And again, because we are trying to get prestige, you do want to run into the red portal. It is the fastest way to get prestige. It's the easiest way to get it because it allows you to kill bosses as well as, well, bosses and a lot of them, because normally it's 4 bosses and now increases by 1 in Overlord. So what happens is the bosses and enemies get more HP, they get more damage, body mass, armor, attack speed and movement speed. They get a shield as well, and we receive less armor. And then there's also an extra void per you know, boss wave, I'll call them that. So the boss waves now have 5 bosses instead of 4, and again, even though the enemies have more HP, the bunnies are just going to be completely destroying them. Now, we aren't looking for individual levels in the bunnies, so we aren't worried about that, but we are worried about everything else that can be to buff them. So getting yourself damage, chaos damage, multicast, and things like that. Again, just focusing on how many seconds cooldown you have. I do think 2 seconds is plenty of time, but if you do grab yourself, if you are going for an insane Overlord cycle, you can get yourself to the lowest you know, cast frequency possible, and then just ensure that your AoE is massive, because otherwise you aren't going to you know, hit those bosses that are off screen, and they will off screen you. So because of their damage and their attack speed, if you cannot kill them as they show up, you will have a terrible time playing the game. So we're going to go for a little bit of multicast over there. Again, for the sake of the video, we aren't interested too much in area of effect, although we are picking it up. You yourself should focus on it quite a lot, but for me, I am just doing this to show you guys what you need to grab and why. So there we go, we can grab brutal strikes. We are going to grab the curse over there, because the more crit damage we have, the more crit chance we have, the more chance there is of a multi-crit. And then there's also the critical mastery rune, which means that 120% crit chance that we've got is becoming crit damage as well. So very strong to grab that as well. But like I mentioned, we are going to be finish this in a record time, and it is just disgusting. So for the rest of the video, you can sit back, relax, and just watch me completely annihilate the bosses, regardless of where they are on the map. I mean, you can see these guys died down here, and I was chilling in the corner of the map. So I have no idea why my bunnies are even there, but they were there, and I cannot be mad about that, because we just completely destroyed absolutely everything around us, which is fantastic. Alright, I do grab a lot of defenses, because obviously if we land up getting hit, we are going to die. So getting yourself the HP armor and the block chance when you are doing Overlord cycles is very good, especially on characters without the passives to give them bonuses. But if you did this on the Barbarian, you do get the extra armor. Legionnaire, if you really were struggling, you could grab yourself shield wall as well, but it doesn't really help unless it just gives you another skill where you're going to have to now fight for you know, buffs for it and things like that. And you also need a very high cooldown on that, and that's going to make it harder for your bunnies to stay on a decent cooldown as well for their summoning and damage. But I don't know, up to you. But this exploit is for 6 bunnies, so you gotta just try and, you know, dodge everything so you don't take the damage instead. Alright, so let's grab more multicast, armor, more crit. Again, crit and crit damage are gonna be your best friends over here. There was a change in the most recent hotfix which allowed you to get a double the synergy skills. So what it does is it just makes it now for every 1 doom stack I apply, I will be applying 2 stacks of dazed. So very strong over there, very nice to grab, and we are just grabbing all of the defensive skills right now. It is always beneficial to grab those synergy skills, but I mean, there we go. There's the next boss down, and we've only got one more set of 5 bosses to go, and then that will be it for us. This was just a demonstration after all, and you know, let's see how far you guys can get. Let me know down in the comment section. Give it a shot. Let me know what you think about this. I think it is completely busted. Try and you know, use this as much as possible until it is fixed, guys. There is a bug in the game, or a weird interaction that shouldn't be there, very similar to how summons were buggy in the very beginning as well, with regards to you know, of this patch, with regards to how much damage they could get because of resummoning skills and their damage multipliers being multiplicative. But as you can see there, we already got nearly 3 whole levels just from that, and that was 2 rounds, a whole 10 minutes of our day taken up for nearly 3 levels. And you can get up to about Overlord cycle 15 very easily with this, obviously if your PC can handle it. But I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Please remember to like, comment and subscribe for more videos like this in the future, and always remember, keep safe, survivors. Until next time, cheers.